Time isn't just ticking, it's teaching. Every second that passes whispers a question. What are you doing with your life? Success isn't the result of luck. It's the child of daily, intentional movement. When another calendar year closes, and we find ourselves no further ahead, the reason isn't out there somewhere. It's within. It's not fate, it's a foggy aim. It's not circumstance, it's hesitation. It's the weight of beliefs we've quietly accepted about our own limitations. But here's the incredible news. The moment you see this truth, you can change everything. This isn't about waiting for January. It's about choosing this exact moment as the line in the sand. Because every single day, you're given a fork in the road. Stay as you are, or become who you could be. The second you define your path with laser clarity, life stops drifting. It starts accelerating. No more maybe someday. This is the start of a mindset revolution. A new foundation built on purpose, discipline, and belief. So, how do you start? Too many people walk through life like ships without a compass, hoping something great will happen eventually. But greatness isn't accidental, it's engineered. It begins with an exact target, a compelling vision that guides your decisions like stars guide a sailor. Without direction, life becomes a loop. Same thoughts, same habits, same regrets. But a magnetic mission, one that pulls you, changes everything. It gives meaning to struggle and turns discipline into fuel. Think of people like Malala Yousafzai, who risked everything for education, or Elon Musk, who redefined industries not by waiting, but by imagining what others couldn't. These aren't just stories. They're reminders that once the destination is clear, the path reveals itself. Your next step isn't about having all the answers. It's about having one powerful why. Write it. Say it. See it every day. A goal that lives only in your head will fade. A dream you put to paper becomes real. A vision you commit to becomes unstoppable. Ask yourself, right now, what do I truly want to build in the next year? Who must I become to make it happen? How will my world shift if I commit completely? The clearer the image, the stronger the pull. Vague intentions create vague results, but sharp goals ignite your engine. The most magnetic people you know, they don't just have purpose, they are purpose in motion. Their focus isn't scattered. Their time isn't wasted. Every step they take moves them forward, not in circles. Purpose removes noise. It makes decision-making simple. If it supports your vision, say yes. If it distracts, say no. That's not rigid. That's freedom. Remember the last time you were fired up about something, really driven. Everything aligned. Time flew. Doubt disappeared. You were tapped into flow. Now compare that to drifting days. No urgency. No excitement. Just reaction, not creation. That's the difference between intention and inertia. And here's the best part. The power you need, it's already in you. Right now. Not next week. Not after one more book or podcast. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. When you're deeply aligned with your vision, nothing can stop you. Delays become detours, not dead ends. Setbacks become strategies. You stop asking, "Can I?" and start asking, "How fast can I bounce back?" Challenges don't disappear. You just stop fearing them. A clear mission turns pain into power, because now, even your hardest days serve the goal. You're no longer shaken by storms. You sail through them, because your compass is locked in. Think of someone like Serena Williams. She didn't become a champion by avoiding pressure. She thrived under it. Why? Because her vision was louder than her doubts. Her purpose beat louder than fear. That's what purpose does. It anchors you. Ideas are everywhere, but action is rare. And yet, it's the only thing that turns a vision into a result. You could spend years planning your dream life, but nothing changes until you start building it. One step, 1 hour, one new habit. That's how revolutions begin. So here's your invitation. Design a future so vivid, so thrilling, so real, that you can't help but chase it. This is your moment to commit, not to a resolution, but to a reinvention. Let today be the start, because every legend, every champion, every world changer began with one clear decision. I will no longer drift. I choose to rise. Every single thing you achieve, or don't, begins in one place: your mindset. Your thoughts are not just background noise. They are blueprints. They carve the edges of your belief. They whisper what's possible or what isn't. And here's the truth. Before any dream comes alive in reality, it's born in the mind. Success doesn't just require effort. It demands mental architecture. You have to build the mindset that makes success inevitable. Think of your mind like a lens. If that lens is cracked with doubt, fear, or shame, everything you see is distorted. But if it's polished with belief, hunger, and vision, you don't just see opportunity, you create it. Doubt is sneaky. It sounds rational. It tells you to be realistic, to wait for the right moment, to play it safe. But that voice isn't your protector. It's a thief. It steals time, courage, and momentum. On the flip side, belief isn't naive, it's necessary. It's the soil in which all transformation grows. People like Oprah Winfrey didn't rise by chance. She faced rejection, trauma, every reason to quit. But she chose to shape her inner world until it bent in her favor. She didn't just hope things would change. She trained her mind to create that change. You can too. You don't need to feel like it. You need to train for it. You wouldn't expect to stay physically strong without consistent exercise. The same goes for your inner world. A powerful mind isn't something you get. It's something you build, one choice at a time. That means noticing your internal narrative and editing it. Replace "I'm not ready" with "I'm learning fast." Swap "what if I fail" with "what can I grow from." Speak power into your reflection, not fake positivity, but intentional empowerment. Because every time you affirm your ability, your brain rewires itself to believe it. And belief, repeated with emotion, becomes reality. Your environment isn't just physical, it's mental. What you consume shapes your confidence. Every voice you listen to becomes a brick in the house you live in mentally. Choose wisely. Feed your brain with books, conversations, and content that light you up, not drain you. What you surround yourself with echoes in your self-talk. Just like your body craves clean food, your mind craves rich, uplifting fuel. Inspiration, education, strategy, stories of people who did it anyway. Consume that, because everything you let in becomes part of what comes out. You'll never eliminate fear. And that's okay. The goal isn't to be fearless. The goal is to be braver than your fear. High performers don't have less fear. They just give it less control. Fear of the unknown. Fear of looking foolish. Fear of not being enough. These are universal. But those who rise interpret fear differently. They hear it and say, "Ah, this must matter. Let's go." They don't freeze. They move through. You can too. When you reframe fear as a signal, a sign you're entering territory where growth happens, suddenly, fear becomes useful. It sharpens you. It humbles you. And ultimately, it expands you. Start acting before you feel ready. You'll rarely feel fully prepared. But action breeds experience, and experience breeds confidence. You can't think your way to courage. You walk your way there, step by step, despite the tremble. Most people never question the voice in their head. But guess what? That voice isn't truth. It's just a habit, and habits can be rewritten. Begin by noticing your patterns. Are your thoughts lifting you or limiting you? Are they reinforcing your greatness or making excuses? Once you see the script, rewrite it. You're not bad with discipline. You're training consistency. You're not too late. You're right on time for your turning point. Every single label you've accepted can be unlearned. And every day is a new opportunity to speak the future into existence. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are the builder of what comes next. The most unstoppable people on earth don't leave their mindset to chance. They craft it. They protect it like their most valuable asset, because it is. Your mind can be your best friend or your most convincing enemy, but only you get to choose which one it becomes. Let today be the day you claim full ownership of your thoughts. Direct them, elevate them, aim them at your vision like arrows, because when the mind aligns, the life follows. Let's crush one of the biggest lies holding people back, the illusion of perfect timing. There is no right moment. There is only this one. Waiting for certainty, more resources, better conditions? That's not strategy, that's stalling. And stalling steals dreams. If you keep pressing pause, you'll blink and another year will vanish. Not because life was against you, but because hesitation won the battle. The truth is, the people you admire, the ones who built greatness from nothing, didn't wait until everything lined up. They acted before they were ready. Confidence isn't a prerequisite. It's a result. It doesn't arrive in your inbox one morning. It shows up after you've taken the first step, stumbled, learned, and kept going anyway. No one becomes excellent before they begin. The strongest people you know were once awkward, unsure, and scared. But they chose to move, and motion created confidence. Start now, while you still feel the fear, while you still doubt. That's how you break the spell of waiting. You can read every book, take every course, and plan every detail, but none of it matters until you do something. There's value in readiness, but don't confuse research with progress. Success rewards the doers, not the overthinkers. Every delay, every excuse disguised as, "I'm just not ready yet," is costing you momentum. Perfection is seductive, but progress is powerful. Ask yourself, would I rather look polished or be effective? The winners are always the ones willing to look messy on the way to mastery. Let go of the idea that you need all the answers. Start with what you have. Move with what you know. Course correct along the way. This is how visionaries move. They act, adjust, grow, repeat. They understand that clarity comes through movement, not before it. Think of Howard Schultz, who turned Starbucks from a small coffee shop into a global culture. He didn't wait for someone to hand him a flawless business model. He started, listened, pivoted, and built as he went. That's the pattern. Start before you're certain. Act before you're ready. You don't need more hours in the day. You need to reclaim the ones you already have. The harsh truth? People make time for what truly matters to them. If you can scroll for hours, binge episodes, or talk yourself out of growth, then you have time. What you need is intention. Carve out space. Protect it. Prioritize your dream like your life depends on it, because your future life does. No more when I have more time. Start creating time now, because you will never find it. You make it. You don't have to launch a business, write a book, or change careers today, but you can take one small move forward. Sketch the first idea. Message the mentor. Practice the skill for 10 minutes. That small act, it matters more than all the grand plans combined, because it breaks inertia. And inertia is the true killer of dreams. The tiniest step done today beats the perfect plan delayed for months. You know what lives in your comfort zone. Repetition. Predictability. The same year on loop. But outside that circle, growth. Challenge. Expansion. Stepping into the unknown isn't easy, but it's worth it. Because every time you stretch beyond what's familiar, you stretch who you are. The first time is hard. The second is awkward. But the third, fourth, 10th, that's when transformation kicks in. Those butterflies in your stomach? That's the feeling of becoming. Stop waiting to feel fearless. Move with the fear. That's how the future is built. You don't need a massive win today. You just need momentum. And that starts with one thing. Begin. Begin with a whisper of belief. Begin with the little you have. Begin even while your hands shake. And then don't stop. Make it a daily rhythm. Not a sprint, but a steady drumbeat that says, I'm coming for everything I've dreamed of. Let this be your reminder. Nobody else is going to create your breakthrough. You are, with grit, with grace, and with action today. The waiting ends here. Fear is not the enemy. It's a compass. Wherever fear rises, that's often exactly where your next breakthrough lives. Not because fear disappears when you grow, but because you grow when you face it. You see, fear thrives on inaction. It feeds on waiting, overthinking, and avoidance. But the moment you move, fear begins to lose oxygen. Fear isn't a stop sign. It's a signal, a flashing light that says, you're stepping into something meaningful. It shows up when you care. It shows up when the stakes are real. And, most importantly, it shows up when you're about to leave your comfort zone. But you get to choose what to do with that signal. You can back away or step through it. The most remarkable transformations begin right on the other side of discomfort. Ask any entrepreneur, athlete, or creator who's changed the game. Fear was in the room with them. The difference? They didn't bow to it. They used it. You want to stop being scared? Move. Even the smallest action, sending an email, opening the laptop, speaking up, shrinks fear. Because the brain can't be in fear and focused motion at the same time. Once you act, your mind shifts. Momentum takes over. Confidence starts to rise, not from the absence of fear, but from the courage to proceed anyway. This is how confidence is built. Not from waiting for the nerves to go away, but from walking with them and realizing you survived. We've been taught to fear failure. But let's flip that. Failure is not your opponent. It's your teacher. No one who's achieved greatness did so without falling hard. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. They didn't see setbacks as proof. They weren't meant for success. They saw them as feedback. Michael Jordan missed thousands of shots. Vera Wong's first career didn't pan out. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was broke and rejected more times than he could count. But every stumble taught them something. Every no led them closer to their yes. Failure only becomes final when you stop moving. You'll never silence fear completely, and that's okay. Instead of trying to erase fear, decide whose voice gets the mic in your life. Fear can speak, but faith gets the final word. Faith in your ability to adapt. Faith in your resilience. Faith in the vision that pulled you forward in the first place. You get to narrate your life. Choose your voice wisely. You don't need to face your biggest fear today. You just need to practice bravery in small ways, over and over again. Speak up in the meeting. Hit publish on that video. Say yes to something unfamiliar. Each act of courage compounds. Each one builds your threshold. Before long, things that once paralyzed you become normal. That's how growth feels. Terrifying at first, empowering later. The first step is hard. The second is awkward. But by the fifth, you're building momentum. Think about a time you were scared to do something, and then did it. Was it as bad as your mind predicted? Probably not. Because fear amplifies imagination. It takes worst-case scenarios and plays them on repeat. But in reality, most fears are smoke and mirrors, gone the second you act. And even when things do go wrong, you're stronger than you thought. You handled it. You're still here. That's the truth your fear tries to hide. Your capacity is far greater than you know. The you who begins this journey is not the same as the one who finishes it. Why? Because each time you act despite fear, you evolve. Fear didn't vanish. You just outgrew its hold. That's the magic. Fear doesn't disappear. You rise above it. Let this sink in. The most meaningful things you'll ever create, build, or become will come through fear, not around it. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be brave for one moment longer than your hesitation. And that moment That's where everything changes. Your surroundings are not neutral. They're either lifting you higher or quietly holding you down. Your circle, the voices you hear daily, the energy you're exposed to, the standards that are normalized, they shape more than your habits. They sculpt your identity. If you're around people who complain, blame, and play small, success starts to feel out of place. But if you're surrounded by builders, dreamers, and doers, ambition becomes normal. You become like the people you spend time with, not instantly, but inevitably. Their mindset becomes your mirror. Their limitations can seep into your goals. Their beliefs, their pace, their priorities, they echo in your choices, whether you notice it or not. That's why upgrading your environment isn't optional. It's essential. Think of your closest 5 people. Do they challenge you? Do they stretch your thinking? Or do they reinforce what's comfortable? Ask yourself honestly, am I growing because of them or in spite of them? Want to rise? Get around people who are already where you want to go. It doesn't matter if you're starting small. Energy is contagious. If you're in a room where excellence is expected, you rise to the occasion. This isn't about using people. It's about aligning with those whose vision inspires your own. Mentors, mastermind groups, communities of high standards, even online spaces filled with driven voices. They don't just offer support, they offer momentum. Because when greatness is all around you, mediocrity becomes uncomfortable. Sometimes, leveling up requires letting go. That doesn't mean cutting everyone out of your life, but it does mean being intentional with your energy. Not every friend fits every season, and not every relationship is meant to go with you into the next chapter. If someone constantly drains you, doubts your dreams, or anchors you to your old self, it's okay to create distance. Protect your space like it's sacred, because it is. You're not judging them. You're choosing you. You don't just need people who believe in you. You need people who believe in what's possible. People who ask, what if it works? People who share resources, not just reassurance. People who remind you who you are when you forget. Create a space where ambition is celebrated, not shamed. Where discipline is admired. Where failure is seen as part of the process, not a reason to quit. That kind of environment fuels transformation. You're not just shaped by others. You shape others too. Want to attract stronger connections? Show up as your highest self. Be generous with encouragement. Be bold in your pursuit. Be humble in your growth. Because when you radiate purpose and passion, the right people gravitate toward you. It's magnetic, and it's mutual. Every so often, check in with yourself. Who's lighting your fire? Who's dimming your spark? Who challenges you to aim higher? Then act accordingly. Maybe it means reaching out to that person you admire. Maybe it means leaving a group that no longer serves your vision. Maybe it's just setting firmer boundaries with those who love you but don't get your path. Whatever the action, take it. Because nothing grows in a garden full of weeds. Even the most self-made legends had support, had challengers, had believers. LeBron James doesn't train alone. J.K. Rowling didn't publish alone. Even solo artists have producers, managers, teams. You don't have to do it by yourself to do it for yourself. Your dream is yours, but your journey is stronger with the right tribe. People who clap for your wins, hold you steady in storms, and push you to keep evolving. Build that circle. Be that circle. And watch how fast you rise. There's one habit that quietly shapes champions, builds legacies, and turns dreams into tangible results. Daily commitment. Not occasional effort. Not once-in-a-while inspiration. Relentless consistency. That's the real game changer. Big breakthroughs don't usually come from massive moments. They're born from the quiet discipline to show up, especially when it's not convenient, not easy, not glamorous. You don't need a massive plan. You need a repeatable rhythm. Read 10 pages. Practice your craft. Make the call. Train your body. Visualize your goal. Even tiny steps, repeated with intention, lead to exponential growth. Most people underestimate what they can accomplish in a year of consistent effort and overestimate what they'll achieve in a weekend of hype. Success isn't about how hard you can work in a burst. It's about how long you can stay in motion. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. Other days you won't. But the ones who win, they don't wait to feel like it. They build systems that carry them even on low-energy days. They don't negotiate with excuses. They don't ask, "Do I feel motivated?" They ask, "What's the next right move?" Because discipline is a decision you make once and reaffirm every single day. The gym, the journal, the late-night edits, the early alarms, those aren't punishments. They're promises kept. Ever wonder why some people seem to gain unstoppable momentum? It's not because they're special. It's because they keep going long enough to reach compounding returns. At first, progress feels invisible. You question yourself. Results are small. But if you stay in the game, something powerful happens. The habits start to stick. The confidence starts to rise. The feedback gets sharper. The world starts to notice. What once felt hard becomes your new normal. Keep stacking the days. The most fulfilled people didn't stumble into success. They crafted it, brick by brick, choice by choice, morning after morning. The transformation you want is not a lightning bolt. It's a fire you tend every day. You don't become extraordinary by accident. You do it by aligning your daily behavior with your future identity. Start asking, what does the highest version of me do today? Then do that. Goals are great, but standards, they shape your life. Anyone can set a goal, but when you raise your personal standards, everything shifts. No more snoozing your dreams. No more tolerating distractions. No more waiting to feel ready. You hold yourself accountable, quietly, consistently, fiercely, because you've decided, I don't just want change, I live it. Some days you'll feel on fire. Others, you'll doubt if any of this matters. But that's when the voice of faith kicks in. Keep going. Progress isn't always obvious. Growth doesn't always shout. But every single action you take is casting a vote for the future you want. The seeds you plant today bloom in seasons you can't yet see. Trust that. That's the final, most powerful piece of all. Show up tired. Show up uncertain. Show up imperfect. Just show up. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a made-up mind. And when you look back, it won't be the big leaps that define your story. It'll be the days you refuse to quit. This year doesn't need another wish list. It needs a commitment to action, to clarity, to growth, to you. Your best life doesn't begin next month or next year. It begins the moment you say, "This is the day I start." And I don't stop